What's up, guys? Bluddshed here. I'll be your host today. Welcome to episode 5 of the Bludd Heart podcast. I know I say this about every week, but man, we're podcasters now, man. It's episode 5. We've been doing this consistently. I can't wait till it's episode 500 and I look back and see how bad I was. And that's pretty much how I look at it with my YouTube videos. I will back and watch my old content and it just feels so damn cringe. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are like that. If you guys are artist or whatever you do, you look back on your old stuff or your old fashioned style and you're like, man, I was such a pleb. That's what it feels like already. Every week I feel like we get better and hopefully we can continue this train, the improvement train or whatever. Anyway, this is a Diablo podcast. We talk about all things Diablo, but we do branch out into other topics such as entertainment, gaming, news, whatever we talk about on stream basically throughout the week. I originally created the podcast to keep my community up to date with what's going on, what we're talking about throughout the week. That's why we usually start it with what's going on in my life. And then we branch out into like Diablo news and my progress and situations like that. This week's topics include the PTR. The Diablo 3 patch 2.6.6 PTR was actually confirmed. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the Switch Lite was just announced from Nintendo and Borderlands 3 information, and we'll go into a Q&A to get you guys caught up on the Borderlands 3 front. But first, let's get into my life. This weekend, I got together with some friends. It was amazing. A barbecue, carne asada, some homemade guacamole. It was good. We got together. There was about 8 of us, right? So it was pretty vibrant, or it was pretty fun overall, very colorful. I brought a veggie plate over, and I don't know, you guys got to tell me in the comments, okay? Do you guys eat like those red bell peppers and those like yellow and red peppers that you see? They're not too hot and you can dip them in sauce or just eat them raw. I almost didn't buy a veggie plate. This is weird, right? I almost didn't buy a veggie plate because I figured nobody would eat it. And that was the first thing gone, was the pepper section or whatever. I do use them. I like saute them and throw them in fajitas and things like that. But I was taken back at everyone's aggressive nature toward these vegetables. And I don't know, maybe do you guys eat those? I'm not sure. I don't normally grab those. I'm more of a broccoli kind of guy. I don't know. But kind of a random thought there. Also, we played this game called Until Dawn on the PS4. Now, this game came out in like 2015. It was like $20 on the PS4 shop. And I think it's a PS4 exclusive. It's like a horror survival game where you control characters and you decide their fate. So it's like those choose your own adventure books as a kid. So like you basically have direct control of your characters. And what we were doing was there was 8 of us, and it just so happens there's 8 survivors in this game called Until Dawn. It's on the PS4. And we would just pass the controller and everybody would control their specific hero or character, I guess. It's pretty fun. What's her name is in the game, actually. Hayden Panettiere. She's from Heroes. Do you guys remember Heroes? Save the cheerleader, save the world. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. We played about 2/3 through the game before we had to call it for the night. We're just drinking, having a good time, playing Until Dawn. I highly recommend it. If you have any multiple of 2, or I guess if you're forever alone, you can actually play by yourself. If there's any multiples of 2, you take care of 2 characters. You can do like 2, 2, 2, 2, or if there's 4 of you, each of you get 2 characters. It was really interesting to do it that way, and I highly recommend it. That was just about it for my day off. Went out, hung out with the family, did some barbecue like we talked about. It was a good time. Went home and got ready for the stream on Monday. Let's crack into some Diablo news. Okay, so PTR is basically confirmed. All right, I'm going to actually read this post to you. Okay, this is on Reddit 6 days ago. Neville has said, we'll provide a 2-week warning before the season ends, which, again, they only gave us a week warning last time, but we won't get into it. Okay, everyone makes mistakes. Okay, as we have in the past. Okay, because development delays have impacted season ends, forecasting the last couple seasons, we're no longer providing an end date estimate beyond that. So she's basically saying, we'll give you a 2-week warning going forward, but don't expect anything else, which I would rather not get a date, then get a date that's wrong, because I start to plan my content around it, right? As a YouTuber, content creator, like I'm always planning everything around cycles, or like, okay, I can do the starter videos during this week. I can do my main videos or my tier list this week. I have to really min-max everything. I stream 6 days a week, right? And I do YouTube videos, and we do a podcast, and I'm going to do other projects in the future. So I have to really kind of min-max my lifestyle. So it's always good to know dates and what's happening and when it's happening. And I wish they would maybe give me some information, some insight to this stuff so we can really build around it. But anyway, I read this like everyone else did. But if you scroll down in the Reddit post, and I'll put the link in the description, okay? If you scroll down in the Reddit post, somebody said, can you please give us a little tease? What's going on? Can you tell us something? This guy called Pointless Sum was just asking for any information on Reddit. And Neville has said, PTR is coming soon enough, smiley face. This was 6 days ago. So 7 days ago when you're listening to this recording. I'm recording this Monday night. So this basically lines up with my suspicion that the PTR is coming, right? And it's going to be here either this week or next week. I would say the latest by Tuesday. So 7 days from today would be the latest we get the PTR. That is super exciting, and I can't wait. I can't believe, I would have been freaking out all week, though, if I knew that it was confirmed like this. And another thing that this marks is the new era. So I believe the developer of the Switch, he was like the game director of the Nintendo Switch, he joined the Classic team, or he's running the Diablo team right now. Since he's taken over, we've gotten now 3 patches in 3 seasons, if you count this one, right? This is going to be our 3rd season of the year. And this is also going to mark the 3rd patch of the year. So I'm interested to see what kind of changes we get, what kind of buffs and seasonal themes, and exactly how it's all going to play out. But so far we've had 2 bomb patches. I never thought we'd get a stash search function, which admittedly I don't really use. I forget that we have it. 6 or 7 years of not using the search function. But it's nice to have, right? And when I'm making builds on the PTR, it's a faster way to shift through all the BS that I have. And like the red beam, we fought so hard for the red beams for so long. And when you see it drop, it's just glorious, right? And you get that red symbol on the map also. It's a good feeling. In addition to all the buffs, and the lawn bonus is probably the best seasonal theme yet. And I hope we have a good one similar in that vein, right? So now that we have this new information, the last 2 PTRs were about a 40 to 45 day lead time. So if we get the patch announced in the next week or so, that should put the seasonal start date even earlier than I thought. My original guess was September 13th. So that I still think it's going to be around that time, September 6th to September 13th for the seasonal start date. And I hope it's the 13th. That way I have just a little bit of time with WoW Classic. But either way, it is what it is. They also did mention that in the previous post that they want the PTRs to be about a week long, which is kind of tough to really make sure everything's working properly, to test everything. If there's cosmetics, I usually will level. I do 1 to the whole season journey is done to get their cosmetic reward, to make sure everything's working, everybody can see it. It's a lot of work to do for a week, to cram it in 1 week. I'm not sure why they do it this way now, but maybe it's because it keeps it fresh. We don't get burned out. Maybe you guys don't see it so much, and I'm not sure. But I would like a 2 to 3 week PTR. And this 1 week PTR is a little too low, but it's better than not having a PTR. It's better than not having a patch. So I'm on the boat where, damn, we just went a year with no patches, right? We just went 1 whole year. If you can imagine a time where you go 3 seasons, plus the downtime, plus everything with no patch. And then now we got 3 patches in a row in 2019 when the game is already over 7 years old. So I'm pretty happy overall. I guess it's not going to complain. I'm just telling you my preferences, okay? If you don't know, we did something called the Wheel of Death, where after every 10 subs, I'd spin the wheel and I would do like this crazy hardcore challenge on my account. So we had to push a personal best with no cheat death. We had to delete any primals we got for the day, if we got them, which we didn't. and we had to delete an item from our push build, which was tough because, you know, it hindered my progress. Just wacky things like that. I feel like overall it was a success. Doing the event, you know, 2 months into the season when the hype has died down really, really low at this point, and a lot of people still showed up. I think we ended up with like 78 subs for the day. And it's really impressive, man. I was pretty happy that the community showed up and really supported it. So much so where I'm entertaining the idea. You guys can let me know what you think. I'm entertaining the idea of making it a weekend event. So I guess it's just a Saturday event. I don't stream on Sundays. So like every Saturday, the wheel's in play. And that way it's just a passive thing, like a passive extra buff that's just always looming over my character. The more we do it, the more people we talk to about it, the better it gets. I get all kinds of suggestions. One suggestion I was going to use, but I'm on the fence about, is somebody said I should put like a tape or cardboard over my health. That way I can't see it, and I can even do that for chat. I can block it for both of us. And there's a little trust system in there, so you guys would have to trust me, you know? But that would be super, super terrifying to push a personal best where you can't see your health. I feel like I judge everything based on my health that I'm taking, right? It's kind of like min-maxing. You look at exactly how much damage you're taking, how much you're doing, how long you can stand in something based on the percentage that you're losing the health. Pretty much everything is based on that. So I don't know if I'm going to do that one, but I could do some fun stuff like wear a funny hat or a funny sweater. I don't know. We could have some stretch goals and we can do some fun stuff with it. So again, post all your comments, all your suggestions on the YouTube video, or tweet me at twitter.com/bloodshed. I want to know, good or bad, no idea is horrible. It just opens up the conversation. Like your idea could actually spark something that we end up using. I had so much fun playing the Wheel of Death, the hardcore challenge. I'm entertaining the idea. Okay, so don't get too crazy, everybody. But I'm entertaining the idea of doing a full-time hardcore solo self-found season for season 18. I'm thinking about it. So I'll have a full stable of hardcore characters that are able to be killed at any moment, right? So every Saturday, you know, I guess we could put different characters on the wheel or whatever. And I'm thinking about it because I've had so much fun. I mean, it's crazy to think 7 years in and I'm still having just as much fun, if not more fun than I ever had playing Diablo. I think it's like life is what you make it, or the world is what you make it, you know, because it's my favorite game, and I feel like we always find ways to make it even better somehow, right? And then with the patches, it really does help propel it forward. So hopefully we get a nice juicy patch for 2.6.6. We'll call it 266, all right? My softcore characters have been not too bad either. We cleared 120 GR with Necro. That was really tough. Like insanely tough. And Lawn Corpse Lance is one of the only skill-based builds in the game, probably, because you have to manage so many different things and, you know, control where the mobs go and kill everything within 10 seconds. And if you don't know what Lawn Corpse Lance is, you basically pop Simulacrum, then you pop Land of the Dead, and you attack like a really low HP mob really quickly. That HP mob will spawn an Oculus Ring. You then blood rush to the Oculus Ring, and then you DPS the elites. Typically, you want to kill 2 elite packs in one Land of the Dead cycle, which is only 10 seconds, right? So if sometimes the mobs will be like, "Get down, Mr. President," and they'll dive in front of the other mobs, right as you pop Land of the Dead. And it really sucks. You have to be so precise, or if you hover your mouse just a little bit wrong, or you mistime it, you have a 10-second window. So it can be really problematic. After like 6 hours, though, we got the 120, and I'm done. I'm happy. I got my 120 with Necro, and we have a 124 with Witch Doctor, which we're going to be fishing today on stream for a 125. So that's my goal. 120 Necro, 125 Witch Doctor, and then hopefully a 130 on Wizard. 120, 25, 30, and then I'll be done. I'll be happy with softcore, and then maybe I'll just focus on hardcore the rest of season 17, or once the PTR comes out, I'll be theory crafting, making videos, and all those things. Or I'll be just focused on making content for the next upcoming season. Speaking of that Necro clear, what was the closest GR you guys ever failed? Or which is the closest GR you guys ever cleared? I never really paid attention to it until the Necro. The Necro failed. Okay, this is painful. Before we got the clear, we failed, and it was 0.214. It was so damn near close. It was actually crazy. And it haunted us the rest of it was looming, you know? It was such a heartbreaking loss that, you know, your brain or like fear was screaming at me like, Blood, just log out for the day. Take the day off. Normally I'm not like an emotional dude, but man, that really pissed me off. That losing it and something I wanted to do so bad that I couldn't do, that I could have done had I just been 0.214 more efficient at some point, right? You look left instead of right, or you stutter step on accident. I mean, that 2.214 is such a small time to fail by. It really haunted me, and I just wanted to log out. It was screaming, Blood, just quit, man, just quit. But we didn't. We were persistent. We manned up or whatever. And we stuck it out and we got the clear, and it was one of the best feelings ever. So it was a really low, but we ended up with a really high. So what's the closest GR you've ever failed or cleared? Let me know on YouTube or tweet me. I want to hear this, chat. I want to hear your guys' stories, okay? Maybe I'll read one on stream next week. How about that? Or any fun Diablo story. Maybe we'll have a section of the podcast where we talk about Diablo stories. Before we get into the gaming news, today's Prime Day, the last day of Prime Day. This is getting posted on Tuesday, 7/16. I believe it ends at midnight, right? So get in, buy some stuff. Honestly, I haven't bought anything but these 2 goose down pillows. I've been getting like a little stiff neck, you know? And so I got this like gusset goose down pillow thing that's supposed to be better for side sleepers. All right. There's a little tidbit about me. If you guys want to know, I sleep on my side, right? I sleep on my Bludd Heart side, of course. Anyway, some of the Nintendo Prime deals is Mario Kart's on sale, Zelda, they're both $10 off. Save $30 on a Nintendo Labo variety kit. Labo, that is that cardboard DIY thing? Okay. Save up to 43% on console bundles. Well, that sounds really good. We got to check that. I don't know. 43% seems like way too much. For Xbox, you can get a discount on the controller bundle, the terabyte. Ooh, the Xbox One X. Save $137 on an Xbox One X. Save 24% on pub bundle. Lots of stuff like that. For PS4, Marvel's Spider-Man bundle. Lots of things. Soul Calibur, Logitech driving, racing wheel, and pedals. Okay. All right. Save up to $450 on PS4 consoles, game bundles. Lots of stuff. I would get in and check it out. There's some cool things for you. But on to gaming news. All right, let's talk about the Switch Lite. Okay. Let me know what you guys think about the Switch Lite. I'm going to talk about the differences and we'll go through them like bullet point by bullet point. Okay. First of all, if you haven't seen the Switch Lite, Google it. It's basically a smaller Switch where you can't detach the Joy-Cons. So that's the first thing you can't do is you can't take off the sides. It's like one piece. There's no removing of the Joy-Cons. You take off the Joy-Con, you put it on the little T-bar thing. You can't do that. It's all stuck in one piece, just like a DS is one piece, okay? It has a smaller screen and the whole size is actually smaller. So it's inferior in that way. But I guess if it's smaller, you can carry it to school or work. You can whip it out when your boss isn't looking in your cubicle. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just in general, it's easier to carry around. So maybe somebody that's more on the go. If you in the airport or you fly, then the normal Switch should be better because there's plugs everywhere. But if you're like, I don't know, if you go to the bank a lot, you go to the DMV or you're waiting or I don't know. I guess you have to make that call for your lifestyle. So it's smaller, which is really bad for me. I take my Switch almost everywhere. I also bring a backpack when I go out with my buddies and stuff because I just have stuff like water and just things like that when I go out typically, or I throw it in my truck. The second thing it can't do is it can't connect to a TV. So you can't actually play it on the screen. You can't even use it in the dock. So it's almost weird because it looks like the Switch. It's just a smaller version. You can't put it in the dock. It's literally just handheld. So it's the second thing it can't do. The controllers are permanently attached. We talked about that. So, and the traditional D-pad is on the left side. So it's because they know that you're going to use it only that way because it's connected. So they made it easier to use apparently, which I haven't tried it, so I can't say that it's easier. I hate playing with the Switch, with the Joy-Cons on the Switch. Hate is a strong word, but I can't really aim effectively. Some games don't matter. Like Mario Kart doesn't really matter, but games like, I tried Warframe on the Switch and it was just damn near impossible to aim. But when I would use the Pro controller, or when I took off the Joy-Cons and I put them in the little T-bar thing, that was easy. Right? It's just actually using the unit to aim was really challenging for me. And I grew up on console. I don't really have any issues normally, so that was kind of weird. It does have an improved battery life though. So a lot of these features could be pros or cons depending on who you are. You might not care about certain things, or you might care about other things. But those are the main 5 things about it. They also go on to say that many of the key components are effectively the same. The Switch Lite still uses a custom NVIDIA Tegra GPU that comes equipped with 32 gigs of internal storage, also expandable through a micro SD. A lot of people were saying, hey, is the existing Switch going to change? Now that the Switch Lite is out, are they going that direction? Nintendo said that the original Switch will still be continued to be sold alongside the Lite. It won't replace it whatsoever. And on top of that, there's rumors that a new, more powerful Switch is being worked on. But Nintendo said that the Lite version is the only one releasing this year. So they're basically saying that it's coming soon, like a stronger version, maybe next holiday season, maybe summer 2020. Usually Nintendo rolls these out pretty quickly. So I believe the new one will have a better battery, a bigger screen, and it'll be sleeker and like will look more modern. And they typically do that with the DS, right? It's kind of like roundish and fun. And then it becomes more, I don't know, rigid and modern looking. That's how they pretty much always do for me anyway. Can I transfer my data between the Switch and the Switch Lite? Nintendo has not yet announced the specifics, but the company says it's planning a transfer feature that will let you move the data between the standard and the Switch Lite. It's unclear of how it works, but more details will be later. So basically, you'll be able to transfer your stuff over. They talked about the colors, which the colors are pretty cool. There's actually a special Pokemon model that looks super lit. They did a really good job with the Sword and Shield exclusive Switch Lite. Fortunately, I think it's only a Switch Lite model. I haven't seen a regular Switch version of it just yet. Here's another game-breaking thing. Will it work on all Switch games? Not quite. Switch games will need to support handheld mode in order to function on the Switch Lite. So a lot of games don't have it, I suppose, but most games do. Other games such as 1-2 Switch and Mario Party will require the purchase of Joy-Cons, and neither can be played in handheld mode with the controllers attached. So you might be kind of screwed on some games that really need the Joy-Cons to function, right? When you play Mario Party, you just use the actual one half of the Joy-Con. So I guess games like that just don't work because it's a Joy-Con type of game. But most things should work. Someone else asked, yo, can I use the Amiibo with it? And yes, while the Switch Lite drops some features from the base model, the system will still support Amiibo figures. So that's pretty cool. I never got into the Amiibo craze, but it's nice that you're not losing features. Another question was, does it support Bluetooth headphones? No, unlike the original Switch, the Lite does not offer support connecting headphones via Bluetooth. Oh my God, it does have a standard headphone jack though, so you can plug it in if you have that. That's kind of unfortunate. Bluetooth seems to be like what standardized on most things, but yeah, I guess it's just meant to, I don't know. It seems like it would be perfect with it. Maybe they'll offer a Switch Lite Deluxe and then they'll add Bluetooth for $20. I don't know, man. That sucks. That one kind of sucks, I guess, for if you got Bluetooth or whatever. But the Switch, man, what do you guys think about it? Are you going to pick it up? For me, it's a hard pass, bruh. For me, it's almost like the Switch is the PC and the Switch Lite is like a mobile version, right? They're both mobile, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just inferior for no reason whatsoever. It already does. It'd be like playing a mobile game at your PC desk, which I might have done once or twice. I'm not going to lie. But it's almost like that, where it's like, why would you be at your PC desk and play it? Because the Switch does the same thing. You know, like I said, unless you're on the go a lot and you don't have a lot of pockets and you want to maybe hide it or transport it in a quicker way, then I don't know why you would buy the Switch Lite or school. The reason why I think that they're coming out with the Switch Lite is because they're geniuses at marketing, and they're going to introduce a whole new wave of people to their product, and holiday season's coming, right? It's also going to be $100 cheaper. A $200 gift is a really nice gift for somebody that you care about, like your niece or nephew or whoever, right? So I feel like it's just great for people that are on the go, and it's like replacing the DS, if replacing anything. It's not replacing the Switch, it's replacing the actual DS. And it's just genius marketing, right? It's like I feel like I want to buy this for somebody that doesn't have a Switch, and it just expands their market even further. So there you go. Are you going to buy it for someone? Let me know. All right, let's talk about some Borderlands 3 news. So this was pretty big. When I read the tweet today, or yeah, I guess it's today. So it's yesterday if you guys are listening to the podcast. Borderlands 3 basically confirmed crossplay, like across all platforms. Okay. So Randy Pitchford said some folks may be speculating that the announcement tomorrow is about crossplay, and it's not. But good news, we're committed to supporting crossplay for Borderlands 3 with our partners as soon as it's practicable after launch. So it won't be at launch, but they're saying in the near future, we're going to have crossplay with Borderlands 3, which is amazing. I guess for PC, we would just be on the freaking whatever launcher, the Epic launcher, but be able to play with your PS4 and Xbox friends all together. I think that's genius. I think it's amazing. Friends usually play games together in waves. And if you play solo, that just means you'll have more games, more people to play with, more people to link up with. You know, it is not pulling us apart. It's bringing us together. I really, really love this. And I don't know if it would work with competitive games, because so sometimes I wouldn't rather play with console, or console wouldn't want to play with PC, and vice versa. It would just kind of be weird, right? It's almost like now it's not fair. But since Borderlands is a overall PvE game where it's player versus environment, right? Player versus monsters or whoever, I think it's totally good. I think it's awesome. And yeah, it's like Rocket League or something. It doesn't really affect it, whether if you're on a controller or a mouse and keyboard. The only way it would affect it, like with Diablo, is if there was some kind of hacking problem on Xbox, and then that Xbox would affect, you know, the virus of Xbox would affect PS4 and then PC or whatever. If PC had a botting problem, then that would affect the other platforms. That's the only thing I could see, is you have to really be on it with your, you know, your software, your anti-cheat stuff. And otherwise it just, once the loot is compromised, it devalues everything. Then everyone just thinks everyone is hacking and cheating, and it just devalues the whole game, as you know. So you have to be on it with that. That's the only problem. People ask me all the time, yo, Blood, would you want crossplay in Diablo 3? And yeah, for farming keys, for doing GRs, but for pushing the leaderboards, I'd want like a separate PC leaderboard. And I want to be able to just specifically group with PC players when I'm pushing at the highest highs. But for like chill GRs, I'd love to be able to play with my entire audience, you know? But again, PC has a botting problem, and then console has a hacking item problem, and then it would just compound the two things together. So hopefully it works out. I'm excited for Borderlands. I'm going to stream it. Hopefully you guys tune in or join me. I'm going to play it on PC later this year. I'm super excited. Let's get into some FAQ on Borderlands to get you guys caught up also if you kind of fell out of the loop or whatever. Borderlands 3 bullet points. It'll have co-op up to 4 players, which is great. I'm happy with that. The length of the campaign is supposed to be about 30 hours, which is again acceptable. It's not mind-blowing, but you know, Borderlands has tons and tons of DLC, so that 30-hour campaign can easily be a 100-hour campaign with all the DLC and all the transactions and stuff. So it said, will you have microtransactions? And it looks like yes, in the form of DLC, just like they've done in the past. And it's exclusively on the Epic Store until 2020. So I think it launches in August, so until the end of the year. So basically most people, not everyone, but a lot of people will probably buy it on the Epic Store. And the diehards will wait till it's on Steam. I'd rather play it on Steam too. So I don't know if I want to wait though. That's the only problem. Another thing they talked about, and they showcased a video of this, is Borderlands going to have a ping system to communicate with your friends, just like the Apex ping system, which is one of the most effective tools of communication. I don't know if you guys have played Apex before. I've only dabbled in Apex and realized it wasn't for me. I'm not like a BR shooter guy so much. But damn, that Apex ping system is glorious if you guys haven't seen it. So you can like click on an item and then it like tells like, you know, check here, go here. It's a really good system, and Borderlands has a similar thing built into the game. So that's really awesome. They're also adding artifacts to the game. And it said our artifacts actually add certain things to movement. For instance, you can slide faster, or you can slide longer, or every time you slide, there's an explosion. So there's like different ways to augment your movement, your slides, also like your guns, right? There's all kinds of different add-ons and gun perks. So they talked about endgame, and it says, for those people that played Borderlands, you might remember badass ranks. It's an infinite progression system that added to your stats. We doubled down on that, and now we call it Guardian rank. Not only does it have infinite progression like before, but it has skills and different skins you can open up as you go through it, which is, I love this. I wish Diablo had this, right? As you get more Paragon, you get like different cosmetic rewards and different skins, and you get rewarded that way, not necessarily with power. I think the Borderlands gives you power, but I love just getting cosmetics by playing a lot versus you just grind, and you shoot harder. Shoot harder, you know what I mean? It's weird, man. Every character that you play on gets the benefit of Guardian rank. So it's essentially Paragon with cosmetics like Diablo 3. Once you get to the end of the Borderlands story, you'll unlock the Guardian rank. Even if you aren't level 50, the game's level cap, what you earn through Guardian ranks will apply on all of your characters. That's interesting. There's some little things to point out if you guys didn't notice it in the trailer, but the cover is destructible, which does make the game feel more real and is super cool to see. There's emotes in the game now. Moxie's bar returns along with slot machines. If you guys remember gambling, I know I wasted a lot of money gambling for items. You can hijack enemy vehicles. Offline play is supported, and your base is basically that giant spaceship, which I'm excited about. I like unlocking like a home. I like doing things and then changing and then seeing the changes in game. I love that stuff. So I wish we had like a player housing type system in Diablo. You can like put up your trophies and just everything that you've earned along the way. You also won't be competing for loot anymore, right? Each player gets their own loot drops like Diablo again. So that means if you play with random people or greedy friends, you won't worry about them swiping your good gun drops, which is awesome, dude. I mean, like, this is like the Diablo version of the shooting version of Diablo, and I'm super excited to see how good it is. I can't wait to play it and deep dive with all you guys. That just about does it for the Borderlands 3 information. Let me know if you're excited to play it when it comes out. You can support the podcast all kinds of ways by subscribing on YouTube or anywhere you listen to the podcast. You know, Apple, you can leave a rating, right? You can, if you enjoy it, if you hate it, if you love it, if you leave a rating, it really helps give us traction on the podcast. It's a new thing that I'm committed to. I really enjoy filming this every week, getting to talk to each and every one of you. You can go on Patreon, where all my Diablo builds are free, and I have other videos and links there, leveling guides, and some stuff you don't see anywhere else on my Patreon page, free for everybody. It's just, I just use it like a website. I'm lazy and I don't want to set up my own website, so I use Patreon. Everyone would go there anyway, right? So I was like, hey, I might as well just put it on the front page. So that's where I put my builds and information. And you can also subscribe, like I think it's called like a paid subscription on YouTube if you wanted to do that. I just finally enabled it. I got a few requests to do that, so I just enabled it for whatever. You can subscribe on Twitch, follow me on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. I'll be more into social media in the future, but as of right now, I have a lot on my plate, so I'm trying to get that kind of hammered down. I also want to make more content on YouTube, try new content, and hopefully you guys like it. Let me know what you think about it once you start seeing it. I'll probably do some new content in a couple weeks here. It probably won't be like for 2 weeks, but it's a different thing, and I like trying different things. I feel like it makes me better overall when I stream different games or I make different types of content or do even the podcast. I feel like I'm better as a streamer since I became like a podcaster, because I think the cadence or this podcast, I talked a little fast, but it does slow you down because you're elaborating and you're going a little bit into more detail, which I still need to get better at, right? I'm so used to the YouTube style where I'm like, this is the build, this is what we're doing, this is how you play it, goodbye, you know? So the podcast is more like talking and like kind of going into like my thoughts and opinions a little bit more. Again, I need to get better at it, but yeah, I can ramble all day long. This will conclude episode 5 of the Bludd Heart podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for sticking it out while we learn and get better. This is the Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.